Good morning, Bobby. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Bobby.
Man, I am doing great, Barry and Wimp. How y'all doing this morning?
We're doing fine. Did you have prior knowledge? And I don't know if it's, I don't know, think it's against the rule. I don't know if Ozzy called you or what. But you have prior knowledge or that Marlon was going to go where he went?
No, I had no idea.
Okay.
I had no idea. I think those teams and GMs and scouts and everybody keep that stuff so close under wrap that I don't think nobody really knows where they're going.
Okay.
Especially with some of the moves that were made in the draft, it kind of had us worried a little bit because some of the teams that Marlon had visited had made some moves and had picked some other guys before him. You know, several of those teams that that made moves, they were very, very impressed with Marlon when he went on his visits to the team. So we were a little bit confused, and one of the visits was not Baltimore. So, but I'm quite sure everybody do their homework and do whatever they need to do in terms of evaluating their players and where they have them listed on their boards.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess they just don't tip their hand or tip their hand to let anybody else know what they're doing. So we were just totally just took off our feet when his name was called at 16.
Okay, I wondered about that, Barry.
Yeah, we're talking about Bobby Humphrey. Bobby, when Marlon put his name in, you had some people say, he should have stayed another year. He really only played 2. What made you guys together make this decision to put his name in the draft? Obviously, it turned out to be a great decision, but what led to it?
Well, one of the things we sat down with Marlon, and we always do this with our kids, whenever there's a major decision, we kind of sit down and kind of get what they want to do. And then we go from there and try to steer them in terms of what we think they should do. So it's a combination of things that happened that kind of helped me to gather information to be able to share with him once we sat down as a family and stuff like, what did the advisory committee suggest that he do, because they do send out a letter. If you request for feedback from the NFL, they do send out a letter. Now that letter doesn't guarantee that you're going to get drafted in the first round. It just says you have a potential first round grade or you have a potential second round. And they also put in there, if you're not in the first or second round, they don't do third. They just say go back to school. So it kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what they think your draft status is going to be. And they're pretty accurate on that thing. They probably about 94% accuracy on what they're telling kids to do.
Yeah.
So you kind of get that information, and you gather information from coaches, and we sat down with Coach Saban, and he gathered information, and he told us this and that, and there was still some borderlines. There was a first, second round type. Some teams had them as a first round, some teams had a second round, and you really don't know. So it ain't no guarantee where you're gonna go when they started having the draft. So things just worked out well for them. So with us deciding as a family, and after he told us what he wanted, and we told him, well, son, this is something you've dreamed of. This is something you've always wanted to do. I mean, let's go for it. So that's kind of how we decided and came to an agreement as a family.
Yeah, great stuff, Dad.
Nick Saban being a defensive backfield coach, and of course the guy from Kentucky, they say is very good. The new guy, I can't forget his name, but anyway,
Ainsley.
Yeah. Does I want to say that does the fact that you played Alabama, I guess that, of course, that has something to do with it, but do you feel that he went high also because of Nick Saban and his staff and Alabama football ability?
Well, and that's something that has been said a lot.
I don't know if that's right or wrong. I'm asking. I have no idea.
Well, I think that's good. That's a fair question, and it's a good question. And I think Coach Saban. I saw an interview by one of the NFL coaches, and Michigan and Alabama were the two teams that had the most players drafted. And the comments that were made that Coach Harbaugh and Coach Saban, by them having such an experienced NFL coaching background, they know how to prepare kids for the NFL and what they expect. Now that was said by a current coach in the NFL.
Okay.
So I think that's a compliment to Coach Saban and Coach Harbaugh that they get these kids prepared and ready for the draft, or get them prepared for the next level. Let me say that, not the draft, the NFL. To be able to go in, be professional, know the work ethic, and they play similar type NFL type style offense. So to answer that question, I would say yes. That playing at Alabama or places like Michigan, or guys who've been a head coach in the NFL for and have good experience there, tend to know what teams in the NFL expect.
Yeah. Good.
We're talking with Bobby Humphrey. Bobby, I think your daughter maybe did a little documentary, showed Marlon working out at Hoover, and then he went to get the haircut, and your dad was there, and then y'all were at the house. Once he was drafted, kind of take us through the rest the next day, what you guys did. You flew up there. Just tell us what happened.
Well, obviously you get the call, and I didn't know we were gonna have to fly out the next day, but within an hour or so, Mom had a flight information for he, Barbara, and myself the next day. So it was it looked like something had came through there and just turned trails over and ripped things up from the party of everybody jumping around and so excited. So we left the house, no made-up bed, dishes in the sink, cups on the floor and everything, and we took off Friday morning. I tailed it up to Baltimore. And but he had to be there for a press conference.
Yeah.
So we did the press conference. The next day they had a what they call fan flop. It's basically a festival where they open up the stadium and invite all the fans in and have some of the players sign autographs, do interviews, take pictures, all that kind of stuff, which, by the way, Baltimore has a tremendous fan base. It was just unbelievable, the number of fans that showed up there for the fan flop. I mean, it was just unbelievable. So we did that on Saturday, went to the stadium on Saturday, the fan flop, and then we caught a flight out of there around about 2 o'clock, about 3 o'clock on Saturday, and got back home.
Oh, so you flew back the next day?
We
Same
flew back
day?
The next day.
Oh, wow.
The next day.
Oh, the next day. I got you. I wanted to ask you this. I was looking here. It's kind of like the NBA now. Their salaries are kind of slotted now, so there's not a ton of negotiating there. But you look at guy 16th pick gets a signing bonus, roughly right under $7 million in total contract, over $11 million, something. How do you advise a guy like Marlon, like in those situations, about how to handle your money? How did you do it in it? I know some of these guys in the NBA, they have their financial advisor sends them so much per month to live off of, because these guys come into so much money that they've never had before. How are you going to advise Marlon when it comes to?
Well, it's pretty easy, because I was one of those guys who didn't do very well. So I'm the best financial advisor he can ever have.
Yeah.
I spent all my money. So,
Yeah.
The one thing I tell Marlon is that, son, you don't have to ask nobody from experience. I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
I bought too much, I spent too much, and I spent it too fast. So he's gonna obviously these financial advisors now are more advanced, especially on the savings side. On the investing side and the friend side is where you got to make sure you don't do a whole lot of spending. So we've advised Marlon is just to wait till the next year, anything, and then when next year any big ticket item things, and then try to be very frugal in your spend. Just don't spend very much. And that's what we've been preaching to him. And then the next year, when he want to buy something big, we're gonna tell him to wait till the next year. So it's gonna always be wait till the next year.
Yeah.
So,
Did
but
you get-
that's what you go ahead. I'm sorry, Will.
No, go ahead. That's good.
I was gonna say, and the thing that you have to do is that you got somebody that's 21 years old and you got a handful of money. And I've told him this. I said, Marlon, you don't have enough money to do whatever you want to do. That don't mean you're supposed to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when it comes time, Bobby, to pick out his home, his mom going to go up there and say, now, Marlon, this is where we're going to live, son. This is where you're going to live. Those are the kind of things. These guys are so busy now. They got to try to find a place to live. They got to move, find new surroundings. How do you handle all that, Bobby?
I guarantee you, Barbara Humphrey is going to be on a flight up there with realtors within the next two weeks.
Yeah. she's gonna tell them what the price range is, not Marlon, right?
That's right.
Did you?
No,
did
but
you get
Marlon has
visit?
done very, very well. He's shown some maturity. He gets it. He understands it. I tell him that, and you know, the best thing could have came out. It's sad, but that documentary on Broke, and it shows all those basketball players, you know, and football players and all these pro athletes that make so much money, but then they go broke. That's a sad video, but it's so true.
Yeah.
So you got to avoid that happening. And, you know, they have to understand that, you know, you're making a lot of money in a short period of time, but you're going to live longer than the money you're going to make in that short period of time. So you got to make sure you preserve it, save it, so you can, you know, have something as you get older in life and get married and start having kids and, you know, all other stuff that takes place after your short, you know, professional athletic career is over with.
That.
Did you get to visit with Ozzie any?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good.
For a very short moment.
Okay.
They was, you know, obviously it was during the draft time. So when we got there, Ozzie and the owner and John and Coach Harbaugh and all them, they stepped out and talked very briefly, and they got right back in the draft room, in the war room, and I think they're very satisfied with who they got in the draft, and it looks like a very, very good draft class. Wormley from Michigan is a really, really good ball player. They just got a ton of players. They went defense in the first 3 rounds, I think maybe the first 4 rounds, and so it looks like they're trying to build something special on defense. And Marlon Humphrey, I hope, is going to be a key part of that.
Yeah, well, no doubt. Well, Bobby, we appreciate you taking
Thanks
time.
for being
That's
on, Bob.
great stuff.
Appreciate
and I
it.
know you guys. I know you're proud of all your kids, and you guys have done a terrific job with them. So we're happy for the Humphreys. I know you're going to be traveling now up to Baltimore to watch some football.
Yeah, I'll be doing that. And one thing we told Marlon he had to find, we told him to wait before he got a car. So now we know what car to get. He need a 4-wheel drive, because I was asking about the snow and the weather, and they said it does get icy and does get snowy up in Baltimore. So now he's go out and find him a 4-wheel drive so he can get around town when it's time to get out in the weather. And by the way, guys, y'all mentioned that video. Y'all want to tell your listeners, go on YouTube, put up Brianna Humphrey, look up Marlon's draft day. My daughter did a great job in putting that together for him, and I think it'll be more appreciative as he get a little older. But I tell you, we just enjoyed it. We had just a private, you know, get together at the house with just a few family members, and it was just only family. And I think Marlon wanted it that way. He didn't want any media there. He just wanted something very, very quiet and private, and not a lot of people. So I think it all worked out well.
Well, I know you're proud of them, as you are of all your kids. And, Bobby, we appreciate you taking time to be on with us this morning. It's great stuff.
Thanks, Bobby. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Barry.
Okay,
See you, buddy.